Everdeen, and today I'm going to share with you how to crochet this flower card charm. Now I did make both a flower card charm as well as a happy face card charm, but for this project I'm just going to show you how to crochet the flower card charm because in my last video I already shared with you how to make these crochet smiley faces. But if you do want me to make a dedicated video on how to specifically make happy face card charms, just go ahead and let me know and I'll make that for you. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the flower card charms. For this project, I'm using a yellow yarn as well as white yarn from the brand Red Heart. They're both size 4, 100% acrylic, and I'm also using a size 5mm hook. And if you need links to where you could get similar yarn to this, I will have my Amazon affiliate links in the description box below, so you could buy yarn from there, as well as my hook. You can also buy my hook from the links down below, so go ahead and check out the description down below for the links. And if you are a complete beginner to crochet, I also do have a crochet for beginners video that you can check out first, and then come back to this one if you don't know like how to make a slip knot or a chain or anything like that, like if you're a beginner. But I'm going to try my best to make this as easy to follow as possible if you are, say, new to crochet. But if you're like a super beginner, then yeah, definitely check out the crochet for beginners video first. So yeah, make a slip knot. And after you've created your slip knot, you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. And after you've chained 2, you're going to go into that first chain that you created and create a single crochet. See all of these terms and stitches and stuff. If you are not familiar with that, please check out my Crocheting for Beginners video first, and then come back to this. But yeah, once you've got all the stitches down, then you can totally do this. After you have done that, you're going to go into the center of a little cluster. It doesn't really matter where, as long as you keep going into the same stitch. See this little opening right here? I'm just going to continue going into this opening and making single crochets. So I'm going to make a total of 5 single crochets into the same exact opening. Again, don't stress out where exactly you need to make the center stitch, as long as you just pick a stitch from that little cluster and then you keep going into that same stitch, making those 5 single crochets inside of that same exact stitch. So you should be good to go. And after you've created 5 single crochets inside of that same stitch, your little circle project should look something like this. And after that, you're going to now no longer make stitches inside of the same center stitch. You're going to make stitches on top of the single crochets that you created. So instead of going in here, you're going to go on top. So from here, I'm going to go into the single crochet stitch and then make single crochets on top of it. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet per previous row of single crochet. I'm just going to build on top of it, and that's what we're going to do for the rest of the circle part of this project. Now for the first row, I just make 1 single crochet inside of every single crochet. So it's going to be 5 single crochets that we made in the beginning, right? So then it's 5 single crochets again. But we do want the center piece to get a little bit bigger and bigger as we continue to make more rows. So in order for it to grow, we need to add more stitches. So for every other stitch, I'm going to make 2 single crochets inside of 1 stitch. Okay, so again, we just made 1 stitch per stitch, right? And now we want it to grow. So in this next row, we're going to make 2 single crochets, 1. Now I'm going to go into the same stitch and make 2 single crochets inside of that 1 stitch. And then for the next stitch after that, I'm just going to make 1 single crochet. And then for this next stitch, I'm going to make 2 single crochets inside of this 1 stitch. So 1, and then going into that same stitch, 2. Okay, and then for the next one, I'm just going to make 1 single crochet. And then for the next stitch, I'm going to make 2 single crochets and then go into that same stitch, 2. And then for the next stitch, 1 single crochet. And then for the next stitch after that, you're going to make 2 single crochets inside of that 1 stitch. And that's going to help it get bigger and bigger. And then I'm just going to continue with that pattern until I am happy with the size of my little circle. So I made 2 single crochets in that one, so I'm going to make 1 single crochet in this one, and then again 2 single crochets in this one, and then 1 single crochet in this one, 2 single crochets in the next one, and so on and so forth until you're happy with the size of your circle. So of course it totally depends on you how big you want your center circle to be for your flower. I want mine to be about, how many rows was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 rows. But again, if you want it smaller or bigger, totally up to you. But once you are done and you're happy with the size of your circle, you could go ahead and cut the yarn from the yarn ball and then bring in the white yarn. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring in my white yarn. I'm actually going to tuck this in. So I'm going to grab the yarn that I cut from the yarn ball, bring the excess through the last loop, give it a tug, and I'm just going to tuck it in so it's nice and hidden away. And you could cut the excess yarn as well, but I just like to tuck it in nice and away so it cannot be seen. And after I do that, then I'm going to show you how I do the petals. So this is my project so far. This is the center of the flower. So now you're going to pick any stitch from around your circle and you're going to put your hook through it. You're going to grab your white yarn and you're going to put it around your hook, being sure that you're able to grab the end of the yarn as well as the yarn that is attached to the yarn ball, and you bring it through the hook, through the stitch, and it should look something like this. Then you're going to grab the end of the yarn as well as the yarn that's attached to the yarn ball, and you're going to put them both on your hook and chain with it, and that kind of just secures it. And that's how I attach different colors for every project. So from here we are going to then do something a little bit crazy. So we're going to wrap the yarn around the hook twice. I know I like never do that in my videos, but we're going to wrap the yarn around the hook twice, go into the same exact stitch, then wrap the yarn around the hook, bring it through the stitch, and now you're left with a bunch of loops on your hook, right? Well, you're going to yarn over, then bring your hook through one of the loops, then yarn over, bring your hook through 2 of the loops, then yarn over, bring your hook through 2 of the loops again, and then yarn over and bring your hook through the last loop. And that is the beginning of a petal. And then from here, then you're going to yarn over, go through the center of the petal, yarn over, bring your hook through all of the loops. Hiya. And it should look like a little nub like this. And then from here, you're going to go into the same exact stitch again at the center, at the yellow part of your project, and you're going to create a single crochet. Again, you should be left with a little nub like that. Then you're going to slip stitch into the next yellow stitch. Then you're going to single crochet into the next one, and then start the petal all over again. So you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook twice, go into the same exact stitch, wrap your yarn around your hook, go through the stitch, then wrap your yarn around the hook, go through 1 loop, wrap your yarn around the hook, go through 2 loops, then you wrap your yarn around the hook and go through all of the loops. Again, should have a little thing like this. Then you're going to yarn over, go through the center of the petal, and then go through all of the stitches. Then you're going to go into the same exact stitch and single crochet, and you're left with a little nub. And then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, then single crochet into the one after that, and then repeat the pattern. So wrap your yarn around the hook twice, go through a stitch, wrap your yarn around the hook, go back through the stitch, yarn over through 1 loop, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through the rest of the loops, then yarn over through the center of the petal, then through all of the stitches, and then you're going to single crochet into the same exact stitch, and you have a little nub. Ooh, these are all going to be your petals eventually. We're going to build on top of it. So from here you're going to slip stitch 1, then single crochet into the next one. And if you think all the petals are too close to each other, then you could just slip stitch into 2 and then single crochet into the next one. It totally depends on how big you made your center. So if you think the petals are just too close to each other, you could space it out a little bit more and that'll be totally fine. But for me, that's just what I'm doing. So from here, I'm just going to again continue the pattern until I have all of my petals ready to go. Okay, so your project should look something like this after you have gone all around the center portion of the project. Now, of course, your project may look slightly different than mine if our center pieces are different sizes. So if yours is larger, you may have more petals. If yours is smaller, you may have less petals. However, if yours is about the same size as mine, which is 5 rows of single crochet, then you should have about 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any more than that, then your petals will be too crowded, because again, these are going to get bigger and wider, and if they're too close together, they're going to crowd and not look as good. So make sure that it's nice and separated. But again, you could have more petals if your middle center yellow portion of the project is bigger than mine, and then you're going to need more petals. But anywho, yeah, this is what the project looks like, just like a center yellow with a bunch of little nubs. But now we're going to build upon these nubs and make them more like petals. So we're going to make half double crochets, and for a half double crochet, it is yarn over through the stitch, and the stitch we're going through is the side of the petal, back through the stitch, and then yarn over through all 3 loops. And then we're just going to climb on top of this petal here, so keep going up on the petal that you created in the previous row and make half double crochets. And now once you reach the top of the petal here, like the apex right here, the top of it, you're going to make 3 half double crochets on top of that petal, right in the same exact stitch. So I made 3 half double crochets in that same exact stitch, and that's just going to build the petal upwards. And after you made 3 half double crochets inside of the same stitch, you're going to now work your way down the petal and just make 1 half double crochet per stitch. And then once you made your way down, project should look something like this. So in order for it to get taller, you need to add more stitches. So that's why we added 3 half double crochets on top of the petal right here. Otherwise it would just still stay really short. So we need to build upon it. And to do that, I added 3 half double crochets at the top. So once we made our way down, we are then going to slip stitch into that center between the 2 petals. And then we're going to make our way up the next petal. So after you slip stitch, you're going to go back to making half double crochets, go into the side of the next petal, make half double crochets until you get to the top of the petal, and then you're going to make 3 half double crochets inside of that 1 stitch at the very top. 1, 2, and 3. And this is what the project looks like. So it's around the same size as the first petal. And after you made your 3 half double crochets, you're going to then work your way down the petal and make half double crochet per stitch until you reach the bottom. Then you're going to slip stitch into the center. And this is what your project looks like so far. So these are the petals, and then these are the little nubs without the half double crochets. So you're just going to continue doing that all along the project. That's so cute. But yeah, so after you slip stitch into the center, you're going to then continue onto the next petal with a half double crochet. You're just going to work your way up until you reach the top of the petal. And once you reach the top of the petal here, you're again going to make 3 half double crochets within that same exact stitch at the very top of the petal. And once you made your 3 half double crochets at the very top of the petal, you're going to then work your way down the petal. And then once you reach the bottom of the petal, you're going to go into the center down here in between the petal you're working on and the next petal, and you're going to slip stitch. So I went ahead and slip stitch, and now I'm going to reach on over to the next petal and do the exact same thing. Work my way up, which is just 2 half double crochets until I reach the very top. And once I reach the very top, I'm going to go into that center stitch at the very top and then make 3 half double crochets inside of the same exact stitch at the very top. And then once I'm done with my 3 half double crochets at the very top, I'm going to work my way down the petal, making again 2 half double crochets in the next 2 stitches on the way down. And then once I reach the bottom, I'm going to slip stitch into the center in between the 2 petals, and then I'm going to work my way up the next petal, making a half double crochet, then going to the next stitch, making another half double crochet, going into that center stitch at the very top of the petal, making 3 half double crochets inside of that 1 stitch at the very top of the petal. And then after that, work my way back down the petal, and then once I make my way down, I'm going to slip stitch into the center, and that's what the flower looks like so far. Just have 1 more to go, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing, work my way up the petal by making half double crochet, another half double crochet, and then once I reach the top of the petal, I'm going to go into that very top stitch, make 1, 2, and 3, hold on, 3 half double crochets inside of that 1 stitch, then work my way down the petal with a half double crochet and another half double crochet, then slip stitch into that center stitch. Now your project should look something like this now, a little cute flower. And it totally depends on you whether or not you want to build upon this or you just want to keep it this size. I think I might want to do another row, so I'm going to repeat the pattern all over again. So I'm just going to make 1 half double crochet per stitch every time I'm on the side of the petal, and then 3 half double crochets inside of 1 stitch at the very top to build the petal higher, I guess, and then slip stitch every time I'm in between petals, and then repeat the process all over again, and I'll let you know what that looks like once I'm done. So this is what my flower looks like after another row following the same exact pattern. I think I'm happy with the size of this, but again, if you wanted to build upon the petals even more, and you want to make the petals even bigger, then you just do another row of doing the exact same thing where you work your way up the petal with a half double crochet, and then once you reach the top, you're going to make 3 half double crochets and then go down with half double crochets, and once you reach the center, you're going to then slip stitch and then do the exact same thing with the next petal, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's how I made this little flower here. So from here, you just need to make your little strap so that you could hang your flower. So from the last point where you left off, you're just going to make a chain of, let's see how many chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. I feel like that should be long enough. So after you've made your chain, you're going to then go back to the same stitch you created your chain, slip stitch into that stitch, and voila, you now have a little strap for your card charm. And if you wanted to make it a coaster, obviously you don't need the little strap, but if you wanted to make it, again, a little charm, you need a little strap so it could hang on. I do want to make it a little bit thicker, so I went ahead and to hide the back so that both sides look nice. So I did the exact same thing minus the strap for the second flower. So I made an identical flower, and now I'm going to attach them together. But essentially you're going to line them together, and then you're going to go through one project and then through the other project and then attach them with a slip stitch. Yeah, so slip stitch them together. Make sure that the sides that you want to be showing are facing you. And yeah, just go all around the project, going through both of the flowers. So one flower and then the other flower and then slip stitch. Then one flower, then the other flower, then slip stitch. And now they're attached. Now you need to just go all along the project with a slip stitch, and they will become one, and now your project will be heftier and look good on both sides. Woo! So yeah, that's essentially what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go all around the project with my slip stitching, go all the way up, then all the way down, and then all the way up and all the way down through all the petals. So yeah, this is what it looks like when it's semi-attached. See, hide the back of it so those are facing together, and then the nice sides are facing the front, like so. So just go all around and slip stitch them together. Again, if you want to, you don't have to. Personally, I like them when they're a little bit thicker. I feel like they are better quality and it looks better. And of course, both sides are nice, but yeah, you don't have to, but it's just what I'm doing. If you want to also do it to your project. So now that I have gone all around the project with the slip stitch, this is what it looks like. It's nice and thick and pretty on both sides without any yarn sticking out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy making your own little card charms. Of course, you can make your card charms shaped as anything. I just decided to make a happy face and a flower because I thought that was like very summery and happy and fun. Also, I got a lot of yellow yarn from my previous project, and I'm like, I need to use all the yellow yarn, and this was perfect. So yeah, you could give these as gifts or just make them for yourself. But yeah, I hope you had a lot of fun. You have a lot of fun crocheting this cute little project. And if you love crochet, I do have a ton of crochet videos on my channel, so go ahead and check it out. And also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click the red subscribe button if you have not already, so I can see you next time. Bye, and have a magical day.
These days, under the sun together, these days, let's make them last forever. These days, let's hope they last forever.